Here's the thing. We have 30 days after closing to file this form with FinCEN, which means we could use that 30 days to gather this information from buyers and sellers. But how cooperative are buyers and
Yeah.
sellers after a closing, right? They're gone. The seller has left with their proceeds and they're not going to be responsive to us. So I think it's going to make sense for us to require that we get this information prior to closing. But Anne, how often, 2 days before closing, does someone say, hey, I know the contract says I should take this in my own name, but I've decided to put it in my
I
LLC?
know it.
Now the title agent has to decide, am I going to close or am I going to stop the closing and say, I need to get this information from you? So the thing is, if we end up not getting information, title agents are required to file a suspicious activity report with FinCEN that says this transaction was specific. But we don't want to do that
Right.
because the realtors are our customers, right? So when someone gets a call from the FBI that says the title agent said your transaction was suspicious, the first person that party is going to call is their realtor and complain, how come this was reported as a suspicious activity, right? So we, I think, are going to want to gather this information prior to closing. My suggestion is to require that buyer and seller collection form be returned 10 to 14 days prior to closing, because we have to review it and make sure we've gotten all of the information we need.
Mhm.
We are concerned about when we tell people this and they say, never mind, I'll take it in my own name and I'll just transfer it in a deed next week, right? FinCEN told us on our call on July 16th that that's a suspicious activity. So even though we don't know if they're actually going to do it, and I will tell you, when people get annoyed, they say lots of things that they're never actually going to do. But now, by virtue of them saying, never mind, I'll just transfer it in a deed after the closing, that's a suspicious transfer, and we would have to report it to FinCEN. I don't like that.